the San Francisco 49ers last 3-4 years, I think, have the most talented roster in the league, and they play the most physical brand of football in the league, weapons all over, one of the best coach teams. And then there's Jimmy Garoppolo, winner. They love him, but they use him conservatively. You guys watched that a year or two ago when they're at Green Bay. I think he only threw like 10 balls. And then another playoff game, I think he threw like 14, 15 balls, like very conservatively. But they like him as the tip of the spear. I see that a lot with how Michigan rolls with JJ McCarthy. Winner, they love him. They use him sparingly, but they're like, listen, you're driving a tank. So we don't need you to do all this extra. No, just plow stuff over and fire when we call for you to fire. Is that a similar comp? I'm just going to roll this to both of you. Is that a similar comp, Niners and Garoppolo, McCarthy and Michigan? And what will McCarthy have to do in this game? Have to, or what will they trust him to do? Hack, I'll go with you.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comp. To me, we always say we want to see explosiveness from the receivers. We want to see explosiveness from the passing game. And even the Ohio State game, I mean, he threw a hitch and they whiffed on a tackle in cover 0, and the dude ripped it off for 80 yards. And then they blew another coverage on a corner post, and he threw it to a dude who had next closest defender was 15 yards from him. So, I'm not taking anything away from him, but or anyone on Michigan's team, they dialed those plays up and were able to execute when they needed to. But I just don't know, because Michigan really hasn't had to get away from who they are. And I don't know if TCU is the team to force them to do that, right? So for JJ, yeah, I mean, just go in there and do what you're asked to do, do what you're coached to do, execute on the plays that you're being asked to execute, which he's done all year, and just keep being who you are. And when I think the thing is, I think throughout his career, especially at Michigan, if this team stays built the same way, right, a very good offensive line, he's going to learn how to do those things. He's going to learn how to use his legs more. He's going to learn when he can be a little bit more aggressive. Maybe there's this pure progression with an option and he sees the option and can throw the post over the top because he's been baiting that safety all day long, throwing the basic, throwing the shallow, right? So there's some things that he can do and learn and grow into. Will he do that for the college football playoff? I think he's going to need to at some point in time. I don't necessarily think it's going to be against this TCU team, though. So, for JJ, just keep doing what you're being coached to do, man. Do everything that got you here at this point in time. And then I think start learning, start going back, start watching games, and start seeing those moments when you could have taken something, or you could have gotten to this, or you could have maybe used your legs, right? That's what I'd be doing, especially with all this extra time. You're basically a pro football player right now. You're not in class. Like, those are the things that I would be doing if I was him, and if I was the coaching staff coaching him, I'd be showing him those on a daily basis. Because whether it's against TCU or whether it's against the next team, if they end up winning this game, he's going to need to do it at some point in time, and I just think it's good for his overall maturity.
He will get called on, Trevor. Trevor, let's go back and do the same scenario we just did with Stetson Bennett. TCU's defensive staff, looking at their guys when they started bowl practice and they found out who they got. You would imagine they're saying, we need to get McCarthy into what kind of situations? If we get him in these situations, the game is ours.
Yeah, let me start here. Just looking at the quarterbacks as a whole in this playoff, 2 of these guys did not start the season as the starter, and they're in the college football playoff. I think that's unbelievable. And JJ
playing each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Playing each other. I think that's unbelievable. Now, Hack, you had a lot of great points about JJ McCarthy there. And for the group of 4 quarterbacks in this playoff, he's the one that I have the least confidence in. I think everybody does. And the one that just hasn't risen to the occasion. You look at all the others, it's like, man, these guys either were a superhero or they've risen to be a superhero, and he just doesn't have that place. And we've talked a lot.
We'll pause right there, Trevor. Just pause real quick. To Hack's point, though, their brand of ball hasn't pushed
the
quarterback out front. It's not Andy Reid and Mahomes. It's what Shanahan and they do at Garoppolo.
Well, and that's what I was about to say. We keep talking about Notre Dame not having a quarterback in the first round. Who was the last first-round quarterback to come out of Michigan? It's been a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't remember who.
Henny.
Right?
Was Henny a first rounder or was he a second rounder?
Henny was second or third. Maybe Dagan's got that. It might be further. It's easily further past Brady Quinn.
That's
a great point.
So to that point, Michigan's never really had that superhero at the helm. And with the success that they've had, I think they understand that. So, Hack, you made a great point about going back, watching the films, making sure that he feels comfortable enough to go out there with confidence and operate the way that they just need him to operate. They're not asking him like the other three guys to go out there and make big plays. Stetson Bennett, we talked about that a little bit. They want him to be a game manager, but he still makes big plays.
And that's the thing, though, is Stetson, and we talked about it, Stetson being 25, he's battle tested, been there, done that. Like, he made the dumb young mistakes, and they were able to overcome it. Like, he's further along in his overall development as a quarterback within a system like that.
Right. This Michigan coaching staff is still saying, hey, we like this guy. He's gotten us here, but I'm not going to just put the ball in his hand when the game's on line. Like, that's not the direction that we're going. And so, if I'm TCU, make him uncomfortable, put pressure on him, make him force some turnovers, make him throw into some crowded coverage, do what you do on defense to make him feel like he's playing within the trees. And force him to get the ball back in your offense's hands if you're TCU. I think that's the best thing that you can do, and obviously minimize that run game, which comes with putting pressure on your quarterback. So, shutting down the quarterback at Michigan is not going to win you the football game necessarily.
That's a killer point right there.
Because of what they do on defense and in the run game, but it still is important in terms of this matchup.
I have your answer. There's only been one quarterback drafted in the first round for Michigan.
Jim Harbaugh.
And it is Jim Harbaugh in 1987.
1987. That comes from our producer Dagan Hughes. Jim Harbaugh is the last and only first round quarterback Michigan's ever had.
That's crazy.
That's something.